Kenshin1913 along with
Mom.
And today is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. I apologize that we haven't made one in a while, but some real life stuff happened and I couldn't get around to making one until right now. So what are we making today?
We're actually making it a traditional, it's kind of a fritter, I guess. But I maybe some people will know about it, maybe many people will not. We actually make them with squash flowers.
Yeah, this is a traditional Italian meal, like old school Italy, like literally off the boat Italy.
Okay, what we're going to start off with are squash flowers.
Now, what are squash flowers?
Squash flowers are, this is a zucchini or squash, green squash. They come in yellow as well. When the plant is growing, it's very leafy, and the flower, there's a flower that comes that's going to make the fruit, which is the zucchini.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you could pick the very tip of it. As you can see here, the little stem is still on. The fruit would grow over here. This would be the fruit. And you could actually take the flower off. This is something that we have been eating since we have been children. My grandmother made them. My great-grandmother made them. And so we pick them, and we try to save as many as we can to make that's going to have enough to make the batter.
Yeah, squash flower fritters or whatever.
Right. So as you can see here, I have a bunch of them. My sister's actually coming over to pick up some because she wants to make them today. And I've cut up a bunch of them in my pan. I've washed them. Yeah. And then
show us how you. Well, let's finish doing the ingredients.
Well, I'll show you. What I do is once it's taken off the plant, I'll bring it in the house, break that off. There's some little petals on here. I'll take those off, wash it under cold water, and then just cut it up into small little pieces. Some people will do this, wash it up, and give it a quick boil. It's a preference what you would like to do, but you don't have to because it's going to be cooking in the batter. So what we're going to do, we've cut up all of our squash flowers. This is probably about a dozen of the flowers, maybe a little bit more. And to make the batter, we're going to use Bisquick.
Bisquick is basically self-rising flour.
Correct. We're using grated cheese.
Parmesan Reggiani.
Right.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Right.
Yes.
We're doing salt,
pepper,
garlic powder, and 2 eggs,
and
a little bit of water.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's see how you you would cut up. Are you using these squash flowers? Let's show you how you'd cut it up.
So you can just cut it like this. See, and I bet you people will say, "Oh, you know, I've never eaten flowers," but there's plenty of flowers that you can actually eat. You can eat lilies. I know you can eat marigolds, pansies. There's a whole book on flowers that you can eat.
Probably the whole website too.
True. And you can also use different flowers. So if you didn't have just squash flowers, zucchini flowers, you could actually do pumpkin flowers. Any of the plants that would make a big enough flower. You probably could even use cucumbers to make this kind of batter. Okay. All right. So we're gonna
finish cutting this up, and then we'll start making the batter.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna put our Bisquick in first, and
if you don't have Bisquick or self-rising flour, how can you do this?
You would put flour and baking powder. So I'm going to start off with 2 cups of Bisquick. And you're going to have to excuse me because, to tell you the truth, I never really measure all of this. I've been doing it for so long, I do it from sight. So then what I do is I mix that into the squash flour. So as you can see, it's coating them. Since I had a lot of squash flowers, I'm going to add actually another ½ a cup into here of the Bisquick.
But usually if you're making it and let's say I don't even know where you could get squash flowers, but like if you're using so many flowers,
you could actually get them from a farmer's market. Some stores will carry them if you ask them for them, but usually it would be your roadside farmer's market that you would be able to get these.
Okay, now what's next?
Okay, next I'm going to add some pepper. So you're just gonna grate it in here.
Yeah, I'd probably say what, like a teaspoon?
Maybe about a quarter of a teaspoon probably. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. Because if you remember, I don't cook with a lot of salt. And I'm going to add my garlic powder. And this is probably about a tablespoon. Okay. I just happen to know, as I said, how much to put in just by looking at and how much squash flowers I have. But about a tablespoon. And now I'm going to add about a half a cup of grated cheese.
Yeah, if you don't have Parmesan Reggiano,
you could probably use just plain Parmesan cheese.
Yeah. The cheese is one of the things that gives it an extra flavor.
So we're mixing all this together.
Yeah, now I know a lot of people probably I'm not gonna eat a flower, but supposedly this is very tasty. I'm one of those people, by the way, who's like, I'm not gonna eat a flower. Like my dad is one of those people who'd probably go outside and he would probably eat grass. He would just cut the grass because that's how old school he is. He would just go outside and he'd probably just cut some grass, put some rocks in water, and boil that up, and he'd have himself a wonderful stew. But I don't know. My family, everyone enjoys it in my family except me because I'm not a fan of eating stuff like this. But all
right, now I'm going to add. I actually have about a half a cup of water here. But the water, when you start to add it, you're going to just judge it because you'll see what the final product is. It's almost like a pancake batter. That's almost the consistency that you want.
At this point, at this point, if you want to start warming up your pan to fry these bad boys,
you fry them in oil.
Yeah.
So we're
using vegetable oil, right?
Our oil in. Yeah, we're using vegetable oil or canola oil.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of make it into a pancake batter. I'm sure you could add onion powder if you want or something. You can jazz it up. But this is our recipe. I mean, that's the beauty about making things and learning how to cook and various things. Is you can always modify it and what you want to add. Like if you want to add an onion powder, or you want to add some other seasoning or something, you can totally do that. This is kind of the groundwork, kind of showing you the steps.
Okay, so as you can see, everything's coated. Okay, and we're gonna get ready to fry these as soon as the oil's ready.
Not breaking anything.
Yeah, breaking stuff on the way. Okay, here we are. I just put a tiny bit in to test it because you want to keep it on a medium-high heat.
Yeah.
And so you're going to take it gently. Remember, the oil's very hot. And we're making kind of like a fritter.
Yeah.
Don't overfill your frying pan either.
Yeah. That is one thing to not do. And again, be very careful with the depending on what size frying pan, I guess depends on how many you can actually add in there. But yeah, try not to overfill it and be very careful with said oil. And
this is my little baby one, the test one, and that's perfect. You want it to be a nice golden brown.
Yeah, because, like I said, my family raves over this. That's because it's been this is a super traditional kind of thing. Like my mom was saying, her grandma made it. And, you know.
People, we go crazy. Like,
Yeah.
my daughter calls me up. Do you get any squash flowers?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like last year, we didn't have many in the garden for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister ended up buying some down in one of the local farmer market.
Mm-hmm.
Now, usually what I'll do is I will drain these on towel paper.
Mm-hmm. But we actually, well, I guess we could put it on here.
So it'll just take up the extra
Excess oil.
And if these are left over, I just wrap them up, and you can actually warm them up in an oven the following day. So they do keep. You can put them in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. Now, is this one of those recipes or one of these I don't know, recipes that like people go crazy over? Like,
yeah,
no. I mean, like in a restaurant.
Yeah, they'll sell them. They'll sell them in as a specialty.
I
know that one of my other sisters, she goes to this Italian import store, and in the summertime, they have them as well.
Yeah.
And I think they charge her like $5 for 2 of them.
Jeez. So yeah, these are.
And one time, my daughter's mother-in-law had some in the garden, and she asked her if she could take them. She goes, oh, because my mom makes, the fritters. She goes, that's a delicacy.
Yeah. So these bad boys are one of those things like I think we made one time beans and macaroni, where if you bought that in a restaurant, a pasta fagioli, it would be a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like $8 for a cup.
But you can make it real cheap at home, with just a can of beans and some macaroni and garlic and whatnot. So yeah, we're just going to continue to fry the fritters, and when we come back, we will see the final. Well, we will taste the final product. Yum. All right, so here we are with the squash flower fritters, and look at how nice they look, huh? All golden brown and yummy. So I brought in a special taster today, since I don't really like these. My dad. Give it a go, P.O.P.
Here it goes.
And you can see inside they're all cooked.
Yeah, everything is cooked, so don't think you're eating uncooked flowers. What do you think?
Delicious.
Delicious. Alright, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Anyways, so this is me, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom
And Dad.
And we will see you in the next Cooking with Kenshin1913.
Enjoy and happy eating.
And in honor of Julia Child, bon appetit!